place of esports?
Ottumwa, Iowa.
Ottumwa, Iowa.
Come on, guys.
Which
Look at you.
company is the company that's responsible for the birth of Ricky's Hospital? Yeah, for the birth of esports. That's
Galaxies.
Okay. Someone has to stand up and accept an honor on behalf of Twin Galaxies. Ladies and gentlemen, the new owner of Twin Galaxies, Jace Hall.
Well,
So now,
okay.
as I've always been taught, wherever there's a successful man, there's always somebody behind him
With a lot of
who's
hair.
smarter. It's usually a woman, and this is Mitten Kitten, and that's really what she goes by.
She,
Maybe a little.
okay, well, okay.
He just got out of his car. He does not know.
This is
no
a,
idea.
okay, this is a total surprise. I just was coming to the expo just because I wanted to see the expo. And Mark got me in here.
Mark set you up.
Yeah, so I wasn't expecting to be in front of a whole bunch of people. Actually, what's even more interesting is you would think that as, I don't really consider myself the owner of Twin Galaxies. Twin Galaxies is a community, it's a concept, it's a vision. I'm more of a custodian who's trying to help it live up to the promise that it has always had and always fought to get that opportunity to be able to show player appreciation, recognize achievement on the largest scale possible, help translate the passion that players have, that people who come to an expo like this have, help translate why it's important to the larger rest of the world so they understand really what it means, why they should care, instead of sort of taking more of a step back and not understanding it. So there's a lot of, Twin Galaxies has always been chartered with an enormous mission, and it's 30 years, and somehow it winds up, long story, with me being involved, and you would think that I had met Walter Day in person before. I haven't until just right now.
Wow.
Obviously, we've spoken on the phone, we've spoken on Facebook, we've emailed. First time in person. And in fact, yesterday was the first time I met Billy in person, and Bart, anybody in person. So it's been a great pleasure and an honor to be welcomed into. I've always been a part of the video game universe. I come from game making. So I was an engineer at Broderbund Software working on Carmen Sandiego. And then educational children's software at Edmark, and then moved into more video games. So let's see, worked on games, franchises, Alien vs. Predator, the Tron franchise, the Matrix games, and eventually, so I come from that universe. So I've always been a part of video gaming, and always played them, but I've not been a part of the score chasing community, the classic community. And to be welcomed in and be able to be a participant has been a great honor. And Walter, he's been in this a long time. He's been recognizing achievement and people's contributions for a long time, and I kept on telling him, I'm not deserving of recognition yet. I have to do more and show people where we can go with all this. So, I'm really shocked, and I appreciate Walter, and I appreciate Mark and you guys for doing this. But I was not expecting to.
I just want to say that three of us here were at the start of this scoreboard stuff. I actually did scoreboard. He made scores. Walter got everybody together. So Jace has been worried that he's not working hard enough. We watched how hard he worked the other day, but in a little over a year, about a year,
Yeah.
he's created a whole infrastructure in a studio that broadcasts to 5,000 people every how often?
Well, there's Twin Galaxies today. If you haven't been keeping up with it, it basically a lot of the challenges that it faced related to it being scalable with all these different games and platforms and you know, how do you do that? And so there's been a lot of work in terms of creating a structure for that and having the website bring the database back and all the scores are back and how do you get scores. And so there's that, and then there's another part to it which Twin Galaxies has never had, which is sort of a media arm to reach lots of people. And so it's always had to seek media attention from other places. It couldn't just do it on its own. So you have this rise of internet live broadcasting, and you have gamers who like to stream and show their games on platforms like Twitch. So we've sort of created Twin Galaxies Live, which is a sort of a wider scoped video game culture live network that's 24/7, and you know, we probably reach 300 to 1 million people a week with that. And the reason I'm here so late is because these guys stopped by the facility yesterday. We were doing a Twin Galaxies live Madden 15 football tournament that's 26 hours long.
With NFL players.
With the NFL there and Duracell and all this stuff. So you know, and needs. But the point is, you know, I was looking at the numbers today, just in that 26-hour period, 1.7 million people saw that broadcast, or it reintroduced to Twin Galaxies as an idea. You know, then they wander the Twin Galaxies site. Next thing you know, there's score chasing. Next thing you know, there's more interest in classics. There's more interest in the whole concept of esports, as it's not just these sort of esoteric tournaments with you know, StarCraft or these other things. You know, electronic sports goes back to 1980, you know, 1979, and that recognition is part of what we're trying to do.
So what I'm saying in front of this audience is that you have earned your right into this family, and you're already in it because you know Keith, and you know, in television he's the star of our family anyway.
I have that Keith.
Yes. So you have earned it, and you have done probably in a year more than at times Walter and I ever did, or Billy, and you have a long way to go. And 5 minutes, he speaks ethereally like this guy does. So I don't know how you came out of the ether like that, but we're.
I thank you. Walter's vision. I was obviously much younger when I first heard of it. I was in the arcades playing. I would open up the magazines, look at the Twin Galaxies scores. I would hear all about that. I'd want to participate. It made you want, you know, not all of us grow up super popular or feeling like we're champions and all this stuff. And there's environmental things that pressure you, and you feel, and then you find that thing that gives you enjoyment that you can achieve in. And then a guy like Walter shows up and says, you know what, that category of thing that you've been paying attention to, it's important. So you are too. And so that, to me, is important today. And as you know, I grew up, the video game culture grew. You know, I know all the guys that run all the big companies and all that stuff for video games, and I've watched the culture itself suffer and be treated more of this sort of consumery product thing. And the people who participate in it as sort of, you know, most people think of the Big Bang Theory or something. And that's always bothered me. And there's never been an organization other than Twin Galaxies that's been chartered to speak on the behalf of the betterment of the whole group. So, you know, it's my big mission to pick up and carry the vision that Walter started, that everybody's contributed to. Because it's not just me, you know. I can't just do this. This is everybody. This is everybody here at the Expo. This is the whole 9 yards. So.
It's right here.
I just hope that after all this time and after all of the ups and downs of the whole thing, that there's still enough. You know, you can get jaded, you can get tired, you can get, you know, but there's still enough excitement and energy to want to push once again. And you know, we've reestablished the relationship with Guinness. It's much tighter. You know, to the point where Guinness is now taking this position where Twin Galaxies really should be the clearinghouse for all the video game records, period, front to back, that goes in their book, because they can't handle everything. So there's good things, but at the end of the day, I'm just one person, a video game player, who I'm, and I'm just lending whatever it is that I've accomplished to help all of us to do, that's why I know Keith, because Keith is in television, right? And I think television is a great platform, and it's still very enjoyable. So how do you bring that message to everybody?
And for Andy,
So I love to see the honors. Do I get one of these?
This is my badge. I'm gonna wear my badge from now on.
No. Well, I'm never gonna wear this is you. Well, what I want to do, it'd be great one day to have the annual Twin Galaxies Award show where achievement is recognized and you win, and I'm not kidding, the statue of the Golden Walter, right? You don't win. Right? You don't win an Oscar, right? You win a Walter. It's the I'd like us to head there. I really do think that it's a real possibility to do those things. Certainly, all of the companies that I wind up working with and who get exposed to Twin Galaxies, right? The conversation starts like this. I'll be sitting with some, Fox executive, because my company does television shows too. So, like 3 years ago, if you saw V on ABC, I'm the executive producer of that show. So they'll come over to the office and they'll be like, "What is this Twin Galaxies thing, right?" I'm like, well, it's the repository of video game world records. Well, what is that? I go, well, did you ever see King of Kong? Oh, I heard. Those guys playing Donkey Kong, that kind of thing. So the conversation starts there, and then I start to take them on the tour of what Twin Galaxies is. And by the time you get to the end, they think, wow, well, this is amazing. This is, because in their mind, they're always thinking the demographic, right? And the demographic of what this community is part of, because even though you may have never played League of Legends or care about it at all, right? To people like, the CEO of Warner Brothers, video games is one super group, right? It's the arcade, it's the League of Legends, it's the whole thing, and they want all of your attention. And it's so hard to get your attention. And Twin Galaxies, what? It's something that people, yes, okay. So then that begins the conversation of how do we work together? How do we, when Warner Brothers was launching the new Gauntlet, they made an all-new Gauntlet. And they came to me and they said, hey, can Twin Galaxies Live preview the new Gauntlet? I said, sure. So what we did was we did this broadcast where we got T.O., who's a NFL football player. And we got Will Wheaton from Star Trek The Next Generation. And then we got, at the time in the Twin Galaxies database, the world record holder for Gauntlet Arcade was Dwayne Richard. So we got him to come down. And so we sat them all together. And what was it, 500,000 people in an hour saw all three of them sitting together equally, being treated equally. This celebrity, that celebrity, this celebrity. They're all celebrities. That kind of messaging suddenly is going to become more feasible for all of this. And I'd love to see things like this Arcade Expo grow, right? Now, it's
pretty big. You haven't seen it.
Well, I mean, it's like, but you know what? I don't even want to be able to find parking when I get here. You know what I mean? It's like, locally to our studio is a place called Vintage Arcade. Is a wonderful man named Gene who works in our arcade machines. And, yeah. Gene. Yeah. And I love the idea of helping to generate more interest in this particular category. I, as a game player, feel a tremendous amount of talent is not being nurtured in gamers, younger gamers. Because believe me, every day I'm dealing with these younger gamers, and they just suck compared to guys like this, right? When you grow up on a video game that when you put it in your Xbox, the first thing it says is achievement unlocked, started the game. Right? Literally, it as opposed to a machine that's designed to do nothing but take your money. It's two different skill sets. So I'm older than I look, and I'll play these young guys and just whip them, right? And they just think, oh no, and I try to explain how this style of game, how classics or this kind of gameplay can really hone and improve these younger gamers, these Nintendo thumbs, right?
Start by buying an Intellivision flashback.
There you go. So there's a lot of fun stuff, and I do not intend to be up here just talking to you guys.
Hey, John Weeks, can you stand up so Jace knows who you are?
I know the name, but for sure, when we were looking for a custodian, as he says, to carry things forward, more than a year ago, without a doubt, we had the impression, but after visiting him, there's no doubt in our mind, someone who has the infrastructure to do it, but they have the passion to do it as well. A lot of us have the passion, but we don't have the infrastructure. There are those who have the infrastructure, who don't have any passion, and they're just interested in dollar signs. He's the only one I know that meets both worlds. I mean, I truly, and when you go to his place, and Walter hasn't been there, I mean,
he has
is that the absolute combination?
Yeah, it's crazy. He has an Atari logo embroidered in each of his car seats. That's hardcore. Gamer for life.
I have an Atari 2600 connected to my. He saw it. It was just sitting there. Here's the thing: is I'm a big believer that money, the pursuit of money for the sake of having more stuff, is just not good. I know people, billionaires, they're not happy people. Not happy. They have all the money they could ever spend, and I swear to you, not happy. I've met people who don't have hardly anything, but they are completely happy. So I learned that lesson a long time ago, that to pursue your passion is an important thing. And this is an important thing to me. Very true.
So I asked him, I said, what percentage of your day is based upon your film world, and what percentage is on video games? And
because it merges together. It's like, it's to me, there's if you can make life and work the same thing, great. Yeah. So I work hard for that, for me. And, Twin Galaxies, just so that to be clear, the economic structure of Twin Galaxies is twingalaxies.com, or we'll call that Twin Galaxies proper. That's like the church. You don't put sponsors everywhere. You don't put ads everywhere. You go to the website, there's none of that. Then there's Twin Galaxies Live, which is more like a TV network, and it can have sponsors who do those sorts of things. And that's what we'll pay for, all of the effort that goes into supporting everything. And then it's working, so. I'm excited to be here. This is this man's meeting. I did not expect to be up here.
We'll let you off the hook because I know you want to get in there. He wanted to go right to play games, and it's like, oh, wait a minute.
Franny Mittenkitten, she is one of the admins of TwinGalaxies.com. That's why she's here. And so she's been a hidden force behind.
She really is Mittenkitten.
Yeah. So that's cool. Thank you.
We're done except for this. Mark?
He may never talk to me again now.
Mark? Is there Billy Mitchell?
He got